Say hi! Welcome back to our next episode of Accidental Stay-at-Home Father. Here's Wylder. Say hi! Hi! And there goes Wylder. Alright, this week we're going to jump into the intellectual pillar. Oh, there goes the tripod. This week we're going to jump into the intellectual pillar. If you missed the last episode, we talked about breaking it down into 4 pillars of parenting. Spiritual, physical, social, and today's topic, intellectual. We haven't covered any of the other ones yet, but so today, stick with us as we jump into intellectual. Before we jump into intellectual though, I want to speak to the importance of a father, and especially a present father. There was a study done where they looked at kids who were incarcerated, people who went into prison, and what affected them. They looked specifically at the parenting life. Great throw on that tennis ball, Wylder. They looked specifically at the parenting life that the children had. They noticed that those who were in dual family, mother and father households, and similar just father households saw the same lower rate of incarceration that you see in single mother households and households where they have no parents. Just right there is such an important piece to why being a father and being a present father matters. So noting that, let's go ahead and jump into the intellectual topics. So we're going to break this up into 3 pieces: intellectual do's, intellectual don'ts, and then just a side piece I want to add on at the end. So starting with intellectual do's. First and foremost, make sure we are encouraging that every day is a learning day. It's a day to take something in that's new. I have a 1-year-old, so it's always amazing to see what he's learning. But with the older kids, the older generation, see what they want to learn. See what you can do with them that they're curious about, and you can learn something right alongside with them. Number 2, unstructured playtime. Get them away from the screen, get them out, and give them time just to do what they want to do, or give them time to think about what they could be doing. A lot of people right now, we jump into sports, we jump into, oh, there's the playground. But what about your imagination? What about your creativity? How can you drive that home with them and give them some time just to make playtime their own? Next, diet and water. If you're just taking care of your kid, wake up and get 30 ounces of water in before we even start the day with them, so you can make sure your brain has enough fuel to go. And just like it's important for you, it's important for them to make sure they're drinking water. Diet. Diet's actually super important, especially when it comes to different sort of things that you can develop. One thing that they've seen in kids, ADD, ADHD, they did a study where, and I'll put this below, but they did a study with the extraction diet. And this diet is really just minimalizing what you eat, only focusing on things that are healthy, really, is what I saw from it. And they saw that within the study, about 60% of the kids who were showing ADD and ADHD symptoms improved after participating in this study. Number 4, encourage your kids to set goals. Encourage them to try and accomplish items, whether it's getting grades, whether it's accomplishing things in sports. Encourage them to set these goals. Setting goals really helps you understand the mindset you need to strive to achieve. And we all want to have achievers within our children looking to make the world a better place. With that, the next one is failure and correction. They gotta be okay with failing. They gotta know that failing is what's going to teach them the next steps, what's gonna help them become a better person. And with that, correction is our aspect of how we can help correct and guide them in these failures, in these steps, in the process of achievement. We have to be willing to do the same things. We have to be able to fail. We have to be willing to be corrected. So we have to internally look at ourselves. One of the things you'll hear me say a lot on this podcast is, do as I say, not as I do, is a saying we should never tell our children, but we should be living out the lives we want them to live as well, trying to be the best examples, knowing we will fail, and be vulnerable with them in that, so that they can see how they can grow as well. The last 2 of the intellectual do's are pretty simple. Reading. My kid, I read to him. He cannot read at all, not a lick. But for the older kids, encourage the reading. Read books with them. Find series that are fun. But reading's great for anyone at any age. And finally, one of the best things to help stimulate a mind is playing chess. Fortunately for me, I have a father-in-law who will willingly humble me at chess any day of the week whenever I ask. so I can jump into that pretty easy. But if you don't, there's a great chess app that you can download and jump into it, or you can just learn it with your son, your daughter, your family, and just have fun, or frustrating fun as you learn the game, and just enjoy the time and memories you get to make together. Yeah, Wylder, we'll make a lot of memories together playing, don't you worry. Moving right along, we're diving into the intellectual don'ts. And number one is inactivity. That's why I try and keep these videos short and sweet, yet super educational and to the point. Inactivity just leads your brain to rotting, reality. I like to think of Newton's laws of physics. An object in motion will stay in motion. An object at rest will stay at rest. Don't be the object at rest. Continue to get out, continue to do things, especially with your family, your children, and those around you. Next, we have multitasking. There have been a lot of studies done, I'll link one below, but the neurologist dives into it about how your brain is not doing two things at the same time. It's actually rapidly bouncing back and forth, and it's causing your brain to function worse. So if you're watching TV, you have your phone screen out, the TV's playing, your brain is just degrading at that moment. And I know I am definitely guilty of that. After those two, we have number three, an information overload. Too much information, too many things coming in at once will slow your brain down, and it will stop your brain from being able to remember everything it should. Try and mitigate the amount of information coming your way and keep it in a focused pattern where you're able to control what's coming in, what you're focusing on, what you're driving, and staying in that lane as you learn that information. This could be a reason why so much is coming your way, your wife asks you to do something and you forget. I know I'm definitely guilty of that. Probably because I have my phone, the TV, and a kid in the background going, "Dad, Dad." It's really cute, Wylder, but you're the reason I don't remember when Mom asked me to do stuff. You. Then we have alcohol. It's fun and can be great at some moments, but really all of the health benefits have been debunked. With that being said, I try to stick to it at just big parties or when my wife says, let's get frisky for a night. Outside of that, not something I'm trying to have in my daily life because it's not something I want my son to be pushing into his daily life. The next and final three, screen time. If your kid's 2 and under, it's recommended that they should have 0 screen time. I know that's tough for me. I love a good movie, and sometimes I'm just brain dead during the day if my kid didn't sleep. So, with that being said, screen time is going to be a challenge for a lot of us, but try and mitigate as best as possible. Then we have headphones. Headphones, if you're listening to them, try and keep them on the lowest volume. It'll damage your ears, and then the damage actually goes and starts negatively affecting your brain as well. So really be careful with the headphones as well. If you can pull them out of your ears and still hear them, it's probably too loud. Last but not least, sleeping. Have a sleep schedule. Get your 8 hours or get the amount of hours you need to be successful the next day, because that's really going to help you with your brain growth and development as well as your physical growth and development. So we covered the do's and we covered the don'ts. Now it's just a way to tie them all together, why it's so great to focus on your intellect, develop it. Obviously, you can function in society, you can accomplish things, you can do math, but one of the most important things that I think comes with being intellectually fit is really the capability to have conversations with people, those who don't see things the same way as you, those who come from different backgrounds and different demographics. You can understand, you can learn, and we can all grow together as a society. That definitely doesn't mean you have to agree. I think one of the biggest things about being intellectually sound is being able to hear someone's opinion, have a conversation, hearing both sides of them, and walk away, whether you agree or not, as people that have had a great conversation and emotions didn't take over and win the conversation. One quote that really brings this together is in The Friends of Voltaire, where the author Hall wrote, "I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." And I think that's what freedom of speech is and what really America stands for. So intellectually having these conversations where we can have completely different opinions but still love on each other and listen to each other at the end of the day is one of the reasons why we should continue to grow our brains and live intellectually healthy and fit lifestyles. Like and subscribe if you like what you heard today. If not, tell me what you would like to hear. We can talk about maybe hearing it. We may completely disagree, but we could at least talk about it, and I think that's part of intellectual growth. Hope you all have a great rest of your day.